My commute almost killed me. I was on a train from San Francisco to San Jose about 6 years ago. All of a sudden, I started feeling chest pain, shortness of breath. I started to sweat. I remember grabbing the armrests of my seat in the train, having my head race and think, what's happening? What's going on? I hadn't ever felt like this before. It wasn't a strange day. I had slept well. I had eaten. Everything was normal except this. But all of a sudden, I just felt so weird, so off. Next thing I know, everything goes black. I remember being on the floor of the Amtrak in the middle row. I remember feeling how cold the ground was, realizing, oh, I'm laying down, and then seeing all these people in a circle looking over me and asking, hey, are you okay? Do you take medication? Does this happen to you normally? Are you all right? Paramedics came in. They stopped the train. I got out after they had an EKG, checked my pulse, everything was fine. But the paramedic said, hey, you should get this checked out. Like, this is not normal. A couple days go by. I go to the doctor. I kind of tell him the story, the situation. Again, they check my vitals, EKG, everything looks fine. And basically the conclusion to all of that was, and my doctor told me this, and I remember it to this day. He said, hey, this is pretty common for people who are in high stress situations, who have long commutes, who aren't used to this. Passing out is a way for your body to tell you, hey, something's wrong. You need to stop this. And I hadn't been listening to my body for 5 or 6 months. It was 4 hours of total commuting, and it was crazy. It was too much. It was too much for me. The reason I bring all of this up was I had to make a change. The 2-hour commute wasn't possible. So that's where remote work comes in, and why it's so important to me, and why, if you've seen me on LinkedIn, I post so much about it, is because there's a personal reason for me, and it's the flexibility of being able to work without having a long commute, without having to do a 2-hour commute, not to mention the environmental benefits, not to mention the the lower stress levels, which is what it was for me, not to mention the ability to be around my dogs or my family. So I just wanted to kind of share my story in the effort to bring light to the multitude of reasons of why people want to work remotely. There's plenty of reasons that myself and others share. Some of them may be medical, they may be spiritual, they may be to have more time with your family, they may be to not have a 2-hour commute and pollute the earth and sit in traffic. But we all have our reasons, and it's really important to me to promote the fact and spread the word of why it's so important to me. And that's why it's important to me, remote work, because I have the flexibility to choose. And that's why it was important for me to choose a company that had a flexible work from home policy, a company that was asynchronous and valued that, and a company that wasn't going to force me into the office, a company that was going to let me choose. And that's a big reason why I chose GitLab in the first place, and why I think remote work is important for me. But I also think, and what I've heard from a lot of people who've commented on my posts and who I've talked to, it's also important for them for a variety of reasons. So I think it's important to share your story, and that's why I'm sharing my story, to build a brand or build a perception of why people want to work remotely. We're not lazy. We're not just afraid of driving. There's a whole bunch of reasons why people would want to stay legitimately in their home. And I think the power of storytelling, the power of the personal message can be vital in communicating that to companies. So my message for all my fellow employees who work remotely is to share your story. And my hope is that employers will see that and say to themselves, at least have some kind of understanding of, yeah, maybe people are remote working for a variety of reasons. And there's more to that than meets the eye. So if you have any questions about, my story, or you want to know anything else about pre-sales, or want to share your story with me personally, privately, however else, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever else. I think it's really important that as a community that we really share how important this aspect of work is for us for a variety of health and other reasons. So let me know if you have any questions or want to reach out. I'd love to speak to you, but I hope my message resonated with you, and I wish you all a very wonderful day. Thanks.